So, you guys, I want to talk about this whole situation of what's going on right now in the society and how I'm watching this video about TYT showing this Israeli sympathizer who was basically so butthurt about the fact that a lot of his friends and people in his close circles don't really seem to understand his heart, and that he is not an evil person. He has a pure heart. He just believes that Israel is justified in committing genocide. And it just made me like go on this whole tangent. And I was like, I need to put this on video. You get this like out so people can hear what I have to say about this. Because this all comes down to, let me think about this before I say this, right? Because I'm going to dive into it. It all comes down to white supremacy. I mean, to be honest with you, if you really want to know why people are confused, if you want to know why, if you're on the right side of things and you want to know why people are on board with genocide and so many people around the world are on board and so many countries are bought off for this shit and all this other stuff and can't, acting like they just can't possibly fight for what's right. It's the same reason that, it's the same answer that would be given to people on the other side who oppose you, who believe that Israel is justified in what they're doing. The reason that you all don't understand what's going on and why you all are not seeing eye to eye, and a lot of people are starting to look at their neighbors and be like, and their friends and family and be like, whoa, that's how you feel? The reason that you don't understand that that's how they felt this whole time, and that these other people don't understand that you don't understand that that's how they felt, and that they're actually still great people when they're really not. Clearly they're showing it, and you're picking up on that adequately. The problem is you're picking up on it late. The reason that all of that is happening is because of white supremacy. These are people who espouse to white supremacy. So people who espouse to white supremacy believe that Black people don't have the right to any of their struggle. They're the same people who will argue with Black people about, or anybody else about, any point having to do with the Black community. Anything that the Black community says is right, it's always the other way around. There's an old school song that goes, if you was white, you're all right. If you was brown, you stick around. But if you was Black, oh, brother, get back, get back, get back. You're always wrong. You're always wrong when you're Black. You brown, sometimes you're usually wrong, but I mean, you're more right than them at least, than the Black ones. If you right, you right automatically. And that's what people don't seem to understand. So you'd have to understand that dynamic to understand this, because that's where you get this gray area with, if you're brown, you stick around. That's where you get this gray area where you have people who are not Black, but they're not white. And they have a lot more support from the white community. And that's because they are touted as model minorities, because that is what will do it for them. That is what will keep this anti-Black and white supreme dynamic in place, because whites have to be at the top, which naturally makes the darkest at the bottom. So that's how you end up with this dichotomy. You end up in this two-tier situation, this dichotomy where, one thing is clear, is only benefiting, predicated upon the absence of benefits from another group. So one group is only, one group's privilege is predicated upon the fact that the other group does not have it. Patricia Hill Collins gets into this in her book, The Black Feminist, when she talks about the matrix of domination and how there was a Eurocentric dichotomy of Black versus white that was set up, wrong versus right, all this other stuff. So That is where that comes from. And that's why you got books out there like Dump DEI, Address Anti-Blackness Instead, by Alleviate Anti-Blackness Instead. Vonda Page. Definitely a good book. Dump DEI, Alleviate Anti-Blackness Instead. And it gets into what I'm basically describing, which is, a system where that allows for things like this to happen, like what we're looking at. This guy is confused. The guy I referenced in my early, what prompted this whole thought in my head to come here and have this video and share it with you all. This thought that this guy has of, he can't reconcile with the fact that his friends and family members who are against what he's saying and doing and what Israel is doing, he can't reconcile how they don't see his heart is pure, because he actually believes that his heart is pure because he has been raised to believe. This is what I keep talking about, and this is what Black people keep talking about when we talk about the society raising us in anti-Blackness. He has been taught and raising us in centering whiteness. His whiteness has been centered to the point at which he can do no wrong. And we say things like this, and you all, a lot of people like get upset with us and say, oh, the race card. I've just started introducing my comments with race card. You know what I'm saying? Colon, and then I get to it. But this is the real talk. This is why people get so upset when we bring up the race card, when we play the race card, because it unwinds and unravels this woven racist, this web of racism. It unravels that cornucopia of nonsense and lets you see that actually, yeah, it does make sense that a lot of things have to do with race if we have a country that was literally predicated upon race. It was built into how you could be naturalized as a citizen. It was built into if you could even be a citizen and be born here as a citizen. It was built into who could immigrate here and become a citizen, or just come here in the first place. It was built into the very fabric of this country, the money, the capital that this country has attained throughout its history. We are one of the 5 wealthiest countries in the world, and us and the other 4 are literally the most wealthy because of the slave trade, because of the amount of labor that was literally predicated upon slavery. That was literally the basis of all of the wealth just about in this country. And that's what people don't understand. But I'm going off on a tangent at this point. But like, long story short, let me get this together so that I can sum it up for this last minute. This is why he feels that way. And this is why the people who are not able to understand how people can be so evil and cruel and racist when it comes to this Israel-Palestine situation, that's why you can't understand that. It's because you were raised in that too. And you don't understand that you were raised in that and that you all were raised in that. And that is why we don't understand each other. That's why we don't understand where these other people are coming from when we actually have a conscience. Because some of you actually have consciences. And some of you are actually seeing that there's a problem with what's going on here. But you're not making the connections that you need to make. So I'm trying to help you all get there. You really just need to look into the history of this country. But you need to understand that all of this can be explained by white supremacy. These people are white and they believe that they are entitled to rightness, to whatever you want to call it, being correct. So if you are against them in some way, then you are the enemy. It does not matter how wrong or right they are. And we're used to that because we're Black. But like, a lot of you all don't understand that is what we've been dealing with because you haven't concerned yourselves with our issues. But now you're having to face some of the same things we've had to face. Not in our shoes, but you're having to face some of those same arguments and people and that obstinance.